welcome to Project Foster Care and the Foster Care Warrior program, airing live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm your host, Shelly Nicole, also known as a Foster Care Warrior, and I'm just super glad you guys are here this evening and every evening. It's my favorite thing to do, actually. So tonight, we're going to be talking about adoption. And it's not adoption in the way that you might be thinking about it, but it's uncovering some things that I'm hoping will make you all go, what on earth is happening? And in questioning it and being super confused, you guys will all want to rally around Project Foster Care and these kids and demand answers and help get them adopted. So I'm just going to kind of delve right in. I do really quickly, though, want to, say hello to everybody. I'm glad you're here. I also want to encourage all of you. I always want to give you a call to action because I need you all to be taking action and helping Project Foster Care grow. So if you guys could all be inviting your friends, and there is a way to do that, and I'm going to start posting that kind of weekly. And if you're interested in it and you want to shoot us an email, I'll send you the link that tells you exactly how to invite friends, because it is a little bit tricky, not too tricky, but a little bit. But just really trying to get as many people involved and tuning in as possible. And I also want to invite you guys to share your stories with me. Hi, Renee. Hi, Roger. Glad you're here. Happy to have you as always. So blessed you're here. So yeah, we just all need to be, making sure we are actively really trying to get the word out and get as many people involved. Okay, so I'm not even going to say it's our guest. He's actually a part of Project Foster Care. He's been my partner in crime for a really, really long time. I actually came to know this magnificent man through trying to adopt a child. And so I am going to introduce and bring back, you guys should know him by now, Mr. Bruce Ragnitz. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, how you doing tonight, Shelly? Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have fun.
I think we're going to have fun and kind of get some people kind of ticked off and some eyebrows raised and stir the pot.
Get them thinking.
Hopefully, really jolt people into, joining us more, right? And trying to take action. So, Bruce, I'm going to open up with how we met and kind of take everybody on this ride that I know for a fact that God took me on to open my eyes to all these different, I say atrocities, but these just atrocious things that have been happening in the foster care system. So I am a foster care mom and have been for now 16 years, over 57 children. I'm a special needs foster mommy. I'm one of the very few ones in my county and in my with my foster care agency. I take baby burn victims, children that are tube fed, you name it, the worst of the worst. And love it. So my husband and I had decided we really wanted to pursue adoption. And another friend of mine, actually, Bruce, a friend of yours, Linda Conforti, with Angels in Waiting, had this adorable little Indian girl to be exact, Native American, that had not spina bifida. Yeah, was it spina bifida, Bruce? It was.
I believe it was, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark Clark. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, so she had spina bifida, and she was just a little bitty little thing, and we fell instantly in love with her. And she was in LA County. And I reside in Santa Clara County. We had our home study and we're ready to rock and roll. And at that point, we'd been looking at different, the folders in our county. But Linda had, I think, Bruce, did she send it to you and you sent it to me, or did Linda send it? I can't exactly remember.
I think she dual sent it to us because I sent her your information.
Right. So, we instantly fell in love with this little girl, and it just so happened one of my dear friend's brother, he specializes in spina bifida and was like, I am totally here for you guys if you get this little girl. So we called LA County, and they felt like we would be an amazing match for this little girl, and they just said, just send us your home study. And I'm like, yay, I was so excited. So I call my social worker and I tell her, my adoption worker, and I tell her, would you guys send our home study over to LA County? And she's like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. I'm like, cool. So we're getting excited. And then I get a phone call. Oh, we can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do that? Oh, we don't share our home studies with our county with any other county. It's only for this county. So this whole thing ensued. So I end up really connecting with Bruce, and we start uncovering a lot of things. And Bruce is trying to help me navigate and find the laws and the rules of this adoption world. Why wouldn't they send this home study, And I'm calling LA County, and LA County keeps calling me. Are they going to send it? We really would like to consider you guys. You're such a good match. And it was just this, gosh, Bruce, what did it go on for, like a month?
I think a month to 6 weeks, yeah.
It was I did everything, and I took it as high up as I could go. And I finally get a call toward the 6-week mark from I can't say names. I so wish I could, but I can't. But I won't. From one of the supervisors, and she's, so I understand that you want to send your home study to LA County. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand why we can't do that. The LA County kept saying if they would just send it to us, it's literally as easy as them hitting send, because they have they're connected. Their computers, it was that easy, and it was ridiculous. It was just hitting send. And they said, we'll pay for the whole thing. They don't have to do anything. We'll do the whole adoption process if they would just send the home study. And they kept refusing. So the supervisor calls me, and, I'm like, why would you not send this home study over? And she's like, no, we just like to, only use our home studies for our children in Santa Clara County. So I said, okay, so if LA County had a foster family that wanted to adopt one of Santa Clara County's children, would you take that home study from LA County? And she says, oh, of course we would. I just was like, this doesn't even make sense. So a few days later, she ends up calling me saying, okay, well, we've decided to make an exception and go ahead and send your home study over to LA County. But it's going to be void. After we send it, you can't use it anymore. It'll be void, which meant in the future with my county, if we had any child come in that we wanted to keep as a foster child and adopt, we couldn't use our home study from Santa Clara County anymore. We'd have to go pay for a home study. But in the end, when she called, I told her, you're too late. They had matched this little girl at like the week prior, and I missed it. We missed it. So literally, Bruce, we went through hell with this, and this is how you and I really bonded, and you started to uncover things with me. But I don't know about you guys, but doesn't that just sound insane that Santa Clara County would not want to talk to LA County and deal, we wanted one of their kids. Well, what if one of our people wanted one? It was just insane. And Bruce, this is super common, right?
Yeah, it happens a lot more than what a lot of people think. Part of me always says the same thing. This isn't necessarily about the adoption. This is about them not wanting you to adopt from another area. They want to make sure that if you adopt, it's from their own area. Again, this comes down to, we'll just call it a financial situation. They are absolutely trying to make sure that if you adopt from their county. And that's why they're null and voiding your ticket if you send it out of the county. They're trying to put enough pressure on you to say, you are not allowed to do this. Basically, is what they're trying to say is, we're not going to let you do this.
To me, it was a form of bullying.
Yeah, it was terrible. It really
was terrible. And that they, it was just that they admitted that, she admitted that, no, we just only want our families adopting from our county. And it was like, it's kind of like how I feel in adoption world. Some people get really mad that people go out of the country to adopt a child. And I stand by this with my whole heart, that who is anyone to say where their child is located and stop that, or judge it. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's if someone's child is in China, then it's in China. That's where their child is. They should go get it. yes, there's children here, but theirs happen to be in China. Well, okay, sure, there's children in Santa Clara that are ready for adoption, but the daughter we felt pulled to was in LA County. Does that make sense, what I'm saying, Bruce?
Oh, absolutely. I have been through that same, as you know, Shelley, we've been through that. My wife and I have been through that adoption nightmare that we should have never had to go through. And a lot of it has to do with, again, leaving the area or being too involved, I'll call it. If you're excessively involved in foster care and working heavily with the kids and foster parents, a lot of times you are a target for not being able to adopt. They will do everything in their power to stop you. And I can tell you that happened to me. And I know from the inside of people telling me that that was the reason the edict came down and said he's not allowed to adopt. So a part of everything we're talking about is that is there little sections in the system where people get to maneuver these things? There's some big sections in the system where people are maneuvering. And they're maneuvering a lot of really, really good people out of adoption, and they're pushing a lot of kids out of being adopted. And you know, you and I were talking before we went on the air that there is about 100,000 kids in this country to be.
Yeah, I'm actually going to read the statistics so that everybody can know. And I got the information from really trusted sites. One thing you guys can always know about me is I check my facts. Bruce and I check them, and we have access to the top sites, and I know that these are facts. So, you know, there's over 400,000 children in foster care at any given time. Of those 400,000 children, there's approximately 100,000 available for adoption. That's 100,000 children in the U.S. Here was the alarming thing, Bruce, and I know I told you that. According to the Family Connections Christian Adoption website, 50,000 of those children reside in California.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That was insane to me. Now, here's the part that troubled me. One of the top sites, the very top sites for meeting the children that are available for adoption is adoptuskids.org. Personally, one of my favorite sites to visit. And in there, you can choose states. I deliberately went into California just so I could kind of give everybody an understanding of how crazy this is. 66 of the 50,000 children are listed for adoption.
Yeah.
Does anybody else find that disturbing? Why is it only 66? And I know, Bruce, we were talking, you know, and I asked you, do you know why? Like, do you have an answer? And I know you and I are going to talk about some things that if you're comfortable with it, Bruce, remember I told you only we know what you're comfortable with. Yashika Watson, I was told the same thing in Pulaski County, Arkansas. And then Faith says the system is so broken. Sorry for your loss. Thank you, Faith. Yeah, Yashika, what was it that you were told, hun? If you can let Rob know or put that up I'm curious what part of what we're talking about. But I'm just, I know with you, Bruce, we were talking, and one of the things, because you worked at the county, and if you're not comfortable with this story, tell me. Do you know what I'm talking about? The thing you overheard?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't mind. Well, let's discuss that a little bit. I was in county offices walking by the door of one of the conferences, and there were several people having a conference, and part of their conference was retaining or not retaining some of the kids, basically adoption or non-adoption. And one of the things that was said was, let's retain this one for a little longer. That's $40,000 more that we are going to retain in our pockets. And needless to say, Shelley, you know what I did.
Yeah.
I walked into that room and I was very, very upset and very angry with these people. I said, this is not about dollar amounts, people. This is about somebody's life. Why do you think of it that way? Of course, they escorted me out of the room and didn't like what I had discovered. I was a little shocked. I wouldn't say overly shocked, because in my mind, I always felt like part of this was financial considerations over and over and over again. There are sections where, and again, I'm not going to say this absolutely happens, but there's too much tying it to that. We're talking about so many kids that should be adopted that aren't being adopted for some reason. And I can't imagine what that reason is, because there are more people wanting to adopt than there are kids up for adoption. Now, somehow that doesn't match or make sense.
Yeah, I had pulled up some statistics, and I now this I'm guessing because I actually didn't write the number down, but it was something like 42% around that number of people trying to adopt that actually wanted to adopt out of foster care. That's a big number of people. Yeah. I mean, they weren't looking for domestic adoption or little babies. Like, they actually wanted to come in the foster care system and adopt. And a lot of them, you know, you were saying, Bruce, they don't get approved. And as I said to you, I hope that's for all the right reasons.
Right.
I hope it has nothing to do with them being gay or being judged or, you know, numerous other reasons that to me are not just. But, you know, for some reason, these kids are not getting adopted. Another statistic that blew my mind, and this is out of the Children Action Network website, which is a great website with lots of information. It said an average child, on average, in totality, waits a shocking
8 years.
8 years to be adopted. Any of you that are parents, I would like you to go back, and I get chills. Like, I literally have goosebumps, and I'm so angry. Look at your kids' pictures from 8 years ago. I'm pointing pens at you. I'm sorry. Get so upset. You go back and look and go through 8 years and what 8 years looks like. It's insane. That is insane to me. Something's got to be done. Something has to change. Another thing is, Bruce, we were talking, is these children are being called special needs. So you might go in to adopt and they'll tell you, you know, there's kids that are under special needs. Prepare to have your mind blown again. Bruce, what qualifies a child to be special needs?
Special needs, as they list them, can be, you know, some of the qualifications are a special needs child may be somebody that's over 12 years old. That's considered a special need. Somebody that may have siblings is a special need. So when they're listed as special needs, a lot of people back up because they don't feel like they can handle a situation. But the situation is really quite basic. It's because I'm over 12 and kids over 12, generally speaking, don't get adopted. Yet, funny statistic is there are at least 100,000 families out there that want to adopt a teen.
So here's the thing too, and I want to dispel these myths about these kids too, Bruce, and you've got to come alongside too, and just so you guys know, the older kids aren't scary. I think I've said this before during shows, but they're not scary. I mean, I'd say 99% of them are not going to molest or hurt your children or stab you or choke you or kill you in your sleep. I mean, I hear the craziest stuff from people when I talk about older children, because Sandeep and I, when our kids go off to college, fully plan on adopting kids that are getting ready to age out, you know, that are 15, 16, 17. And in hindsight right now, with 4 teenagers in the house, sounds a little kooky because my own kids drive me a little batty right now. But these kids, they want a home so bad. A lot of times they behave better than your own birth children would. And that's just the honest to God truth. Bruce, I don't know if you have much experience in that, but
yeah, I actually am a very big proponent of adopting the older kids. I have had several of them as a foster parent, and I guarantee you, had they come up for adoption, I would have absolutely adopted them. They were great kids. They're always, as you said, surprisingly enough, most of them are very quiet. They do get a little introverted, and I think that is because they've gone through so much. But
well, and
just,
they're also waiting for you to boot them out,
yes.
right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I had
Absolutely.
a foster mom today, sorry, Bruce, in our support group. She's a fairly new foster mom, and she had written in the foster care group that there was a 16-year-old boy, I believe, that came to be with her. He hasn't been there quite a month. He's already been kicked out of several schools before, and 20 foster homes at this point. And the school had said, we think he's trying to get attention. And I was not in any way, shape, or form upset with the foster mom at all. She came to us looking because she wants to keep him. She doesn't want to fail him again. But you know, a lot of times these kids are literally, if you feel they're misbehaving, and they are, some do, it's because they genuinely don't feel wanted. No one's ever wanted them. Their very own birth family didn't want them. 20 other families didn't want them. And as I've said before, these kids have to live up to an unattainable perfection, unattainable lifestyle of being perfect and being good, all while trying to deal with the emotions and hurts that they've been through. And now they're in a new home, and they're hormonal, and you know, they're going to act out, and they need some grace and some patience, right? Mark Clark says, I've been dealing with SCC and DFCS, which is social services, and SSA since 2000. Okay. And Yashika, I was told I shouldn't adopt out of the county or state because there are plenty of children in our area. And if I did, the county DCFS would be slow to help if I had any issues with the children. See? Biscuits and gravy, that makes me mad. Thank you, Yashika. That is insanity, right? Because I bet you found a baby or a sibling or a child you wanted. And to me, that's insanity. All the counties need to be working together to get their children adopted. They don't know where the perfect fit is. The perfect fit for that child might be in a different county. For crying out loud, it could be in a different state. Let's get these kids in their homes with the right families that want them and stop the red tape. It makes me crazy, Bruce. I'm going to lose it.
You know, there's something I know it drives me nuts too. There is something I wanted people to think about. You know, you mentioned that 8 years statistic, the average was 8 years. Just imagine those kids, what they're going through for 8 years with no family. You know, I think often a lot of people forget about that's 8 years is a long time to not have a family of any kind, period. So just imagine how they feel going through 8 years. And I guarantee you, when they hit 16, 17, 18, one of the things that happens most on their mind is they really want to be adopted by that time. And you would think at that age, they're thinking about, forget it, I'm done. But it's actually quite to the contrary. They want desperate. To be adopted. Yeah, they're looking forward. They want a family for the rest of their life. They want people they can call family for years and years to come. And they realize I'm at the last straw. This is the last chance I have to gain a family for my lifetime.
I get goosebumps again, just all over my body, because I talk to those kids. I can't have these kids on the show, these kids that are getting ready to age out and that contact me. But I can tell you that as they inch closer to turning 18, 19 and aging out of the system. And there is a new program, I know in California, and I know, Mark, you've talked about it last time, that they've allowed, at least in California, we have, you know, to up to 21. But at any rate, the kids, this is what their thing is, oh my gosh, where am I going to go for Christmas, Thanksgiving, my birthday? What about when I get married and have my first child? Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation. Who cares if I go to school? So they don't. Who cares? I think, what is it? Isn't it like 1% or 2% of foster children actually go to college? Some insanely low number. Do you remember, Bruce, those stats?
It's about 2 to 3% go to college. Less than 0.5% actually graduate.
Right. So, because you look at it this way, if you don't have people rooting for you and, you know, supporting you and loving you, it's like you just kind of, what are you living for, right? So, and they've never felt it. So their self-esteem is so gone. So these are all the reasons why it's like the most awesome thing you could do is to adopt an older child. And to me, it's, older child to some people's 5-6 years old, which is crazy to me. But I am telling you, these kids will rock your world. They will love you like nobody else. They will make you laugh and smile, and they will have these conversations that will just, swell your heart. And yeah, it's crazy. So at any rate, so Bruce, this is what's going on. So we are getting the kids adopted. We want to know why. Bruce and I don't have an answer for you, really. Jessica Tanner, amen. Yes, ma'am. Mark Clark, 503,000 foster kids in the U.S., 101,000 in California. Yep, the county wants the money in their pocket, nowhere else. They want reunification. That's where they get their federal funding. And that is another, Mark, thank you for the stat on that. Woo, Mark. See, what I really wanted you guys to know tonight, and what Bruce and I already know, it's really hard to prove, but I promise you it's about money. Money, 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 money. And as long as these kids stay in the system, or they, go back to the families, they'll come back into the system. You send them back home, they're probably going to come back. Money, 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 money. And that's what it's all about, folks. The government making their dollar on behalf of our children. It's disgusting. And this is the stuff I need you guys to get really ticked off about and decide you're not going to put up with it. And we have to do something. So I don't have the answer. Bruce?
Well, no, we nobody has the answer to this, but we have answers. We can't enforce those answers. We're not equipped to be able to enforce them because there's too many people as you crawl up the ladder, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, that's part of the statistic about these kids that are older. And I wanted to hit that just one more time, Shelley.
No, please.
I actually witnessed, I believe it was 25 kids. I went to their adoption ceremonies, all of which were 17 or older. They were being adopted. And I have never seen 25 more happy kids to have a family. It was so different than witnessing an adoption of, say, a 5 or 6 year old who absolutely loves their family. But when you see
they don't get it. They don't understand.
They don't understand. But those 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds, wow, they were so excited to be able to communicate and have a family. I mean, they were wild, crazy excited and absolutely loved on their families because they felt somebody wanted them. That was a big change.
They wanted them. They felt wanted for the first time in their life.
Yeah.
Remember the movie that came out, and it's a true story, Blindside?
Yes.
Again, with the goosebumps. If you guys can't tell, this is like my favorite topic. I've watched it so many times. I cry every stinking time. And if you guys haven't seen it, you have to see the movie The Blind Side. Oh my gosh, I'm choking up, Bruce. I'm such a weirdo. It's from my standpoint, that's one of my favorites, and the biggest reason, of course, I'm a little prejudiced to that reasoning, but I've actually met Michael Oher and his I guess you call it ghost author, but he really wasn't a ghost author. He's known. His name is known. So the two of them wrote this book, and the two of them actually talked with me, congratulated me for being a foster parent and doing what I do, and gave me a signed copy of that book, one of the copies. So to this day, I have a little soft spot for both of them, especially Michael. Michael would come on here and share his heart. That would be amazing.
He is the softest hearted guy, I can tell you.
And he's huge. What is he, like 6'7"?
Oh yeah, he's a huge guy. 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, he's a big dude. He's big. Right.
But just look at what the Tui family did.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say, I know that she doesn't even like it when people say, I remember in the movie a comment, about you're changing that boy's life. And she's like, oh my gosh, look, I'm going to cry. I'm so weird. And she said, no, he's changing ours.
Yes.
I think I just get so sad that people don't see that these kids can come in and you think you might be rescuing them, but I promise you, they're rescuing you right back, and you didn't even know you needed to be rescued. I just all that work on the mascara. There we go. So there's a lot of great kids out there to be adopted. For some reason, they're not trying hard enough to get them adopted. So we're questioning that. Bruce and I don't have the answer. Okay, I have Roger Finch. I understand what Bruce is talking about. I saw so much evil. Money first, bribe doctors, keeping kids doped. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, the drug. Sorry. Many kids were deemed special needs, and boom, 18 years old and getting to get a job, but then they're worth $7,700 a month. Yeah, that's about right. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other topic, you guys, and I know I've touched on it during the shows before, and we're running out of time, so I'm just going to vaguely touch on that really quickly. So these kids that are broken or going through a hard time, they're giving them names like bipolar or ADHD or ADD or whatever it is, when really they're hurting and in pain, and they're not getting the appropriate counseling because they don't want to spend money on counseling, and whatever they pay a counselor isn't anywhere near what a normal counselor would get. So they aren't getting very good quality counselors, and it's really hard to even, find one that takes the Medi-Cal or takes what they pay. And so they start pushing the drugs to drug the children. And then if the children don't take the drugs, and if you guys remember, we had Chantel House, and she was telling you about that. You get incentives for taking your drugs. So at any rate, that's another topic, another day. But this is a 2-part series. Next week, we're going to talk again about this, but Lisa Sweet was going to join us today. We had some things going on, but I know she'll be joining us next week. And she's going to talk to you about more on the lines of what are the birth parents and the birth family's rights, because they have rights, but they aren't being told them. It's a very interesting topic as well, and it all has to do with adoption and all of that too. So we need to be asking ourselves, why, if there's 50,000 children in California alone, can we only find 66 on a website? Why, when these people, we had Yashika, was it Yashika, Rob? Is that right? Yashika and myself trying to adopt a child in a different county, and we're being told no, our county only. So these counties are telling us where our children reside and kind of bullying us to stick in our own county, which is crazy. So we need to be asking ourselves these questions, and then we need to start demanding change and asking questions and demanding answers. And maybe you guys could search your hearts and see if you are an adoptive home for these kids. Just a thought. Bruce, do you have any final words?
Interestingly, something that you mentioned that really stuck with me, and that's the bullying that you just mentioned. That's exactly what a lot of these agencies do. They will bully you into a point of you have to only adopt here, and only basically when we tell you you're allowed to. That's really what it comes down to. If you want to look on a national website, the chances of adopting one of those children are about 1,000,000 to 1. They really are. And I know that for a fact because I have a very good friend that runs a national website. It's really about putting the pressure on your local community, because that's where all the funding is. That's where all the money comes in. They're going to try their best to make sure you adopt in your very own county, as Shelley has happened to you. Mm-hmm. We've been through this. We know what they do. But keep in mind, when we start getting to the 16, 17, 18-year-olds, well, suddenly the chains get loosened up. Now we're willing to free them up, and we're willing to talk to people across counties. It's amazing, but it happens all the time.
But how sad is it that those kids had to go those extra years without their family?
Yeah, terrible.
It's really terrible. It's an atrocity. Bruce, thank you for always being here.
Always.
And my partner on this journey. You know, you're my buddy.
I know. Same
I'm
here.
grateful for you. All right. Thanks for being here, Bruce.
Sure,
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Oh, sorry, Bruce. Thank you for tuning in. Every week, I will continue to open your eyes to the foster care world, and I promise to only tell you the truth. And I just hope that you guys will come alongside of us and help the kids. And I don't mean just the kids, but the foster families, the social workers, and those out there at the front lines fighting to make the foster care world a better place. Thank you all for being foster care warriors and joining us. Please, please, please share, invite people, and we'll just see you next week. Go have a hope-filled week until next Thursday. Bye.